You're listening to littlepodcast.com.
I don't know a ton about almonds.
Was supposed to try the Mampani worm, which is like a big fucking grub.
Bees attack cars that drives off with their queen.
You're coughing like a little girl. Every organized system gets degraded by radiation.
I don't know a ton about almonds. Welcome to Born in the 80s, episode 256. I'm your host, John Rowe, joined by my co-hosts.
Matt Hag.
And TJ May.
TJ, the Switch.
Wait, hold on.
God damn it, you had it a minute ago.
Would that make me a Switch hitter?
I had to adjust a thing.
Yeah. TJ's a Switch hitter.
Because the cropping is different when I'm not actually hosting.
Yeah.
But that's totally not something that
No.
people that are listening are interested in at all.
No, TJ is great. He's how have you recovered from last week?
I'm feeling solid. I'm alive.
Yep. Is your mouth destroyed?
No, not really.
So you're able to survive?
So I really think I'm desensitized to the thing.
Have you just been licking it all week?
No, I haven't been.
Okay.
The thing is, some of the dumb crap I do at work, is
you just lick all the switches before they get put in their cases.
Exactly. But honestly, some of the weird things I do at work, just like because it's my, GameStop facade, it's the personality I put on there.
Wait, whoa, slow down. There's a GameStop TJ?
There's a GameStop TJ that's different from podcasts online TJ.
Can you give me GameStop TJ for a second?
Oh, no. I don't
Why not?
Yeah,
I know you're not at work. All right, I'm a customer. I'm coming in. Hey.
Thank you for calling GameStop and Cricket, where you can get DVDs and Blu-rays in 28 days before Redbox and Netflix. Wait, I screwed that up because that was Family Video. But, no, like, randomly, like, if I'm about to throw away, like, a piece of receipt paper, I'll randomly throw that in my mouth. and thermal receipt paper tastes about 10 times worse than a Switch cartridge. Just whatever weird oil-based material that's on that.
TJ,
can I ask you a question?
Disgusting.
Like a heat reactive
I don't have pica. And
do you have a problem?
No, it's only a problem if it causes issues for myself and others.
Okay, round table. What's the weirdest thing you put in your mouth? I used to suck zippers when I was a kid.
Oh,
a lot of people used to do that. I can't stand that.
Yeah, what's the
metal
weirdest?
Tastes really good.
I'm trying to think of the weirdest thing I put in my mouth now.
I used to chew on wet washcloths and like suck the water out of it.
Well, yeah, everyone's on that. Or like you have a hoodie.
I ate dried flavored mealworms once.
You got a hoodie. I've had those. You had some of those with you.
Oh yeah,
you brought them back from Bosnia
weird.
or wherever you were.
No. I got them in lieu of having. So I went to Botswana and I was supposed to try the Mampani worm, which is like a big fucking grub.
Yeah.
That's full of like the grubs that you see during the
in Lion King
Pumbaa video montage.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I missed that when I was there. So I was like. Penance when I came back. I ate a bunch of those mealworms, but it wasn't quite the same because they were like dried out and flavored like Doritos.
That is
that's the end of that story.
No, that is. I mean, I've tried them. They taste pretty good.
Yeah, they're just like weird protein with flavor dust on it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I remember they just kind of taste like burnt popcorn. I think I had a cooked cricket once. That just tastes.
That actually sounds good.
Burnt popcorn, like literally, it's just a crunchy like. Yeah, but I mean that's like the future, right? We're all going to be eating insects because we're not going to be able to sustain. Oh man, I could get in a huge rant right now about like organic
gelatinous protein bars stuff made out of like
because like people
cockroaches.
I know like people who are like to buy food at Whole Foods and like environmental conscious and stuff and GMOs are the worst, but like organic farming uses up a lot more water and a lot more land, and it really isn't a sustainable way to farm. I mean, you feel like you're doing something good, but in fact, it's actually using up more resources to make the same thing, basically, which is kind of bad.
Is it true that I heard something that one almond takes about like 10 gallons of fresh water to actually produce? It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, almonds
take a
ridiculous amount of water.
It's because almonds are trees that they're very thirsty trees, and they are grown in a climate that is not super good at keeping them, like, especially in California, which is where a lot of almonds are, had a lot of drought problems. So it was basically just, we have to truck in water to keep these almond trees producing almonds. And I don't know a ton about almonds, but a lot of trees will only produce fruit when they're like really well nourished, basically. Like, it's kind of a mechanism for them to, like, if it's a drought year, not to make fruit.
It's like, it's a boon time, so let's
so a lot of times, I honestly don't know that much about almonds, but I know that's something that happens a lot, and I wonder if that could be it. I mean, I could just Google it right now and I would know the answer, but that would be not the John scientist thing. That would be me just looking up Google. Why do almonds need water?
Well, they're not native to that area. Aren't they from like the Middle East or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
They're definitely an import. Also, okay, so I was listening to a story.
Oh, and one almond is 1
Planet
gallon
Money
of water.
Sorry. About how they truck bees around to do the pollination for almond fields.
Yes.
And they were like, people say that having to truck bees in is unnatural, but like the almonds are imports from the Middle East, and the bees are not native to this continent. Like, none of this is natural. This is all like built on top of imports and invasive species in species.
Why do almonds take so much water to grow?
Melissophilia update of
the
podcast.
Mm-hmm. So why does
a theme, but it's not ready yet. So
almonds actually don't even use up that much water, TJ, is what I'm learning. Their broccoli, for instance, a head of broccoli uses up 4.5 gallons of water. Although, to be fair, that's fairly large compared to one single almond, which uses a gallon. So when you think about that, that's quite a bit.
When you're talking about water usage, it's all relative to where it's being grown, because that's a very local resource usage.
Correct.
So the problem with almonds is not so much that they use water, but that they grow
They're all
best
concentrated
in places where there is no water.
Yeah, well, there is now. They're getting dams busted over there because there's so much water. But yeah, that is a thing. That is a fact, and I don't know anymore. So you've ruined my science corner because I don't know. Is that it?
Yeah, I got tons of variations on this.
This is our bee theme.
Yep, that's our Melissophilia update.
I like almonds. Do you guys like almonds? I used to hate almonds.
Yeah,
I used to hate almonds too.
I like my almonds raw and unflavored.
What I don't like is walnuts. Those things are disgusting pieces of whatever they are.
Walnuts. Pecans are good.
In the
pecans,
back
cashews.
when they were doing what's it called? The like cures like stuff for medicine. They thought walnuts cured headaches because they look like little brains.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So this is the Nutcast.
The doctrine of signatures.
It's the Nutcast.
Did you guys know about cashews, correct, and how those are grown?
No, I don't.
No.
Oh my God.
I just know they're expensive.
I'm gonna blow your mind right now. Okay, so almonds grow as basically they grow like an apple-like fruit, and then the little almond that you eat is the seed that's at the cashew that you eat is the seed that's at the bottom. And just look up a picture of cashew fruit, and it's disgusting looking.
I started typing in cashew, and the first thing is cashew fruit.
Yeah, they
They
look
look
hor-
like bell peppers.
Yeah, they look like a bell pepper with like a little tumor sticking out of the bottom of it, a little bean, and inside that hard shell is your cashew.
Really weird when you realize you have no idea where your food comes
Oh,
from.
I know. Like, and supposedly that fruit isn't super good for eating. It's a little bit bitter, and the flesh is kind of mushy. I guess they use it in like sauces and like stuff and like feed, so it's not like it gets wasted. But anyway, the reason why they're so expensive is A, you have to grow like an apple to get one seed, basically. But B, they actually are every cashew you eat is hand shelled. So somebody goes in there with a little knife and cracks that thing and pulls the cashew out. And then they're sorted for size. And then they're sent off. So that's why. There's like a lot of labor in collecting cashews. So that's why. Pretty.
But they're so good.
You know what's really good?
Cashews are the best nut.
Oh, I don't know. Roasted almonds are so good. You get like a honey roasted, fresh, hot honey roasted from like a vendor almond. Ugh. Ugh. That's how I feel. You know what I don't like? Almond liqueur and like almond flavored things. Like when almond cookies. Ugh. Ugh.
I like
biscotti
almond cookies.
with almond.
Like
I don't like the fake
with
almond
almond
flavor.
extract stuff.
Yeah, I don't like the fake almond flavor.
I haven't had that for a long time.
It's not great. I don't know.
My
Some people
mom
like
developed a tree nut allergy, and she's usually my source of cookies. So
it.
I
So
don't
there
have
will be no
stuff with
almonds.
in it very often. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So I'm not gonna fucking buy cookies.
What have we talked about this week? We got to get off the nuts. Anyone else have any more nut topics before we move on?
Macadamia nuts. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
They're fine. I like macadamia nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what nut is the worst nut in the frickin' world? Brazil nuts. God.
I don't think I've ever actually had a Brazil nut.
Brazil nuts ruin mixed nuts. There's that giant nut in the mixed nuts.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah,
That was
and
disgusting.
what
they're
that
kind of
is,
chalky and they're big and I don't
Just throw
know.
those away. They're like when you have trail mix and you have raisins in it. You just kind of pick around it. You end up with a bucket of raisins at the end of it.
What? The raisins are good?
The raisins are the worst part, John.
Wow. A lot of people. Have you seen you should look up what Brazil nuts look like in the shell though. Cuz the shell is just this gigantic brown like hard as rock case that they're in. Oh, gross. God, why does everything have to be gross? The Brazil nuts is a fruit, and on the inside is just a bunch of like fleshy, like
Yeah, I don't
casings
like
that you get these
Nature's
nuts out of.
gross. Let's get rid of it.
Yeah, that's it. That's actually what the current administration is like. We gotta kill Mother
Yeah,
Nature.
Don't worry, guys.
Makes-
I don't believe that carbon dioxide
Yeah.
is a contributor to global warming.
Uh-huh.
So I don't believe that because science is like a belief.
Who likes Brazil nuts? Do they like them in like Brazil?
Brazilians.
Because like they suck a lot. I'm not a fan. Brazil nut oil. Apparently, they're used a lot in that cuisine over there. So they're mostly fat. 85% calories from fat by weight. So
Really riveting.
yes. Dude, here we go, Matt. This is why I think Brazil nuts always suck. Due to their high polyunsaturated fat content, primarily omega-6 fatty acids. And now, polyunsaturated fats, I think are fats that are not. This is the science corner right now. Is fats that are generally not stable in room temperature as well. So they go rancid. Because they're not saturated.
Has to go rancid.
Yes. They may quickly become rancid. So, Probably why not? Oh, also Brazil nuts contain small amounts of radium, a radioactive element. About 1,000 times higher than several other common foods. So, great. Wait, this is amazing. Brazil nuts are a common ingredient in mixed nuts where because of their large size, they tend to rise to the top. An example of granular convection, which for this reason is often called the Brazil nut effect. So that's why everyone hates Brazil nuts, because they're always at the top of your mixed nuts.
Also, they suck and they're big, so they're a space filler in mixed nuts.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm just realizing that.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like there's like no health to these at all. Like nutrition, like this Wikipedia article is all mostly like, I don't know about that. Let's see here. Wait, the European Union has imposed strict regulations on the import from Brazil of Brazil nuts in their shells, as the shells have been found to contain high levels of aflatoxins, which can lead to liver cancer. I mean, you don't eat the shell, but would you like to eat a nut that's surrounded by a shell of liver cancer-causing substance?
Irradiated nut
Maybe.
surrounded by liver cancer.
Anyway, so not well known. Let's see here. Brazil nut trees are apparently in Brazil illegal to cut down, and so there's apparently tons of them everywhere because nobody's allowed to cut them down. So they show up in people's backyards. They're not allowed to cut them down. Brazil nuts sink in fresh water, which causes clogging of waterways. The giant fruits can fall off the trees and hit people. These are like a nuisance fruit, like a nuisance nut.
You can
The
get
nuisance
4
nut.
ounces of virgin organic Brazil nut oil for $30 on Amazon.com.
Oh, I'm sure that's in some fucking ridiculous recipe. I must use Brazil nut oil as it adds the best flavor to my quiche.
Raw, unrefined, extra virgin certified organic Brazilian.
It's unpasteurized.
1630.
I only drink raw milk nowadays.
Apparently, this is something people use for hair care.
Okay, that could make sense. Get that cancer in your hair.
Get that cancer.
Get that radon in your hair.
Get that paper.
Do you guys want the real fact about raw milk?
The stuff they don't want you to
The
know.
website that is just like real raw milk.
Raw
that's it.
facts.
I just
about
like
raw
that they're like.
milks.
I'm just like they're like. Is it safe to drink real raw milk?
No.
Well, this is a raw milk like website, so and they don't call it raw milk; they call it real milk. It's real milk. Let's see here. Real milk has been produced under sanitary and healthy conditions as a safe and healthy food. It's important that the cows are healthy, tested free of tuberculosis. Tuberculosis you can get from raw milk, or an undulant fever, which sounds like it'd be fun to have, and do not have any infections. It's just like it's like, okay, so do you trust the person who you're getting this raw milk from for it to be safe, or do you just want the pasteurized stuff that is 100% not going to give you tuberculosis?
I mean, isn't this just one step away from saying we should just have human pasteurized breast milk?
I mean, yeah, why not? It's cleaner than cow milk.
Yeah, I saw that documentary with Mad Max, I think it was called.
Uh-huh. Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I forgot about that part. Yeah, I
You
guess
know
that's
that
like the new
Babies
new
can get
thing.
botulism poisoning from eating honey.
Yeah. That's so the thing is that basically you should only eat McDonald's food because it's so processed that you cannot get sick from it. This website, oh my god, man, I'm getting into my fucking science rant here because like this realmilk.com fucking thing is some real fucking dumb shit. Question: is real raw milk helpful for adult diseases? Although there's no studies on the use of raw milk in adults, we've received many testimonials
Definitely not then.
about the beneficial things for raw milk. Why is raw milk better than is raw milk safe for babies? This is insane.
Hey, baby, how's that immune system? Let's crank that shit up.
I love that people are just like, oh man, when we used to have I hear this all the time because I'm fucking from Wisconsin, so of course I have relatives that had fucking cow farms, dairy farms. And they're like, we used to take a ladle in the milk thing and pull up a fresh worm right out of the cow milk, and that was great because it's like so much cream. I'm like, yeah, that's a fun story to tell, but also it was incredibly dangerous that you were doing that. Like,
well,
yeah,
it
and
may
like
not have been as dangerous back then. It's dangerous now when the cows are slammed together and like, standing in feed of their own shit.
More likely to be ill, So it's kind of like, yeah, I like it. People like to fetishize the past like that.
Yeah,
like,
if your cow is like free range and frolicking in a field and it can poop in one area and eat in a totally different area, then raw milk's probably fine. But the way that cows are raised now, no. Remember back when Louis Pasteur invented pasteurization and saved like a shitload of people from early death?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just not do that anymore.
Yeah. I just like these like real milk, like it's just in some insane shit because like they're just like studies have shown, and then the studies that they're showing are not like real studies. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they have one study that was done in Switzerland, that wasn't really published anywhere.
Like, there is some validity to the hygiene hypothesis. Like, we're not exposed to enough bacteria and parasites.
Yeah, for sure. And that's how people get allergies.
For an adult human person, like, sure, but don't give your infant raw milk. That's gonna kill it.
Well, I think that when you have kids, I think the doctor actually tells you to give your kid peanut butter when they're really young.
I know for a while they were telling pregnant women to not eat peanuts or peanut butter, and that people think is
here it is.
Peanut allergy.
I think it's not for 6 months though.
Nope, it's actually brand new guidelines this year, which is where I heard about it. So the I don't know, whatever fucking doctors organization, pediatricians organization, they used to say babies here goes. Most kids should get a taste of peanut protein by the time they're 6 months old. And they should get regular doses if you don't see an allergic reaction. They're even saying kids that have a high risk of having a peanut allergy, like parents with them, should also be given the nut because it may prevent it from ever developing if they get it early enough. They used to say you shouldn't allow kids under 3 to have peanut because of the risk of allergies. But now they're like, no. Give them a little peanut. And you're supposed to do it at a doctor's office when they're 4 to 6 months old and start having a egg, just give them the foods when they're real young because then they won't get allergies. So
give them lots of glutens and peanuts.
Get
and
everything.
Eggs,
yep. Mm-hmm.
All of it.
Turns out, feed your kid a balanced diet of a large variety of foods. That's a good idea. Anyway, so yeah, don't drink raw milk though. I mean, it may sound like a cool idea.
Hey, look, we're talking about feeding infants a lot of stuff here. Don't feed your infants honey because it might.
Is that
kill
bad?
them.
That's bad, yeah.
Well, it's because there are like botulism. There's bacteria in honey that can create botulism, and it's a small enough quantity that if you have a fully developed immune system, it's not a big deal.
Jesus.
But for infants, it can give them botulism toxin.
Botulism's not a joke.
No. Unless if it's in your face.
Jordan's talking on the YouTube chat about beekeepers and the transporting them. Yeah. I think that was really interesting because they talked about how they just take big semis full of bees around all the almond farms to have them pollinate.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is crazy. It seems crazy you're doing this, but it's like, well, it's really easy to move bees. It's really hard to move trees. So keep the bees, in a place where they're happy all year round in Louisiana, and then during the season where the flowers are out, they bring the bees over, let them pollinate. I'm sure the bees love it. They don't care. They're getting flowers. You know, everyone benefits. So I think that's pretty cool. Although it does terrify you that there is possibly a semi full of bees somewhere near you. That if it were to overturn, it would be the worst thing imaginable. Holy shit! Could you imagine? That has to have happened, right? Like bee truck crash.
Of course. So I looked it up, and almonds are native to the Middle East, and all of the honeybees in the United States are native to Southeast Asia.
Oh,
so
really?
You can't go down the rabbit hole of it's weird that we're bringing bees around because the whole thing is weird and unnatural. Basically, most of the things on this continent were invasive species at one point, including white people.
Yeah, we just brought, because we're like, we had these in our home country. We need to have these in our new country. Because obviously, we know what's best. I mean, back then people didn't know. But still.
They didn't know.
There was a crash in, where's this? North Carolina. Some semi rear-ended a bee semi. And there were bees everywhere. They had to bring people to spray the bees off of all of the surfaces. So get your Melissa.
Did we talk about
on?
I think it was last summer. There was a queen bee got trapped in someone's trunk, so their car got completely swarmed by bees.
Oh my god! No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, but I mean, Melissophiliacs in love. Yeah, I saw this on Gizmodo last summer. There was a reporter who went in to rush to the scene, and he was trapped in a car with bees. Yes, here's that one. Here's the image. Bees attack cars that drives off with their queen. It was trapped inside the back corner of a car, and the bees just got over it. So I guess they brought local beekeepers over to smoke the bees to make them tired, and they
put them
all in a big box and found the queen and threw it in the box and was like, all right, get the fuck out of here, bees. Bees are bees are one of the worst. They're such a nuisance, but they're also so necessary, you know, because they will sting you and they suck, and people can die from that, but we need them, you know.
So I'm going to try and find this article real quick. But apparently there's a company that, the bees are dying, right?
Yeah, so supposedly.
There's a company that has created an autonomous drone that pollinates flowers. And John, you've seen Black Mirror.
Yeah, there's actually a Black Mirror episode about that. Which is interesting, because they're worried about the colony collapse disorder, and they're like, we're going to make a bunch of bees. And then somebody's like, maybe the bees could just murder everybody. And
just crawl straight up into that brain.
Yeah. Yeah. That's horrifying. I hear something going on.
Yeah, it's just my youngest one just keeps coming down every 3 minutes and just describing what she just saw in the movie.
Does she want to be internet famous?
No.
Well, if she's going to be on this show, she's definitely not going to be internet famous. Yeah. I'll tell you that right now.
There are 4s of people that will hear this.
There are dozens of them. Dozens. But supposedly the colony collapse disorder has declined, I guess.
That's good.
Well, not declined as much as it's kind of leveled off. It kind of spiked a few years ago. So maybe it's not.
Well, there's so many variables. There's environmental toxins and pesticides and stuff, and then there's the fact that we're trucking them around everywhere, and they might get confused and stressed out.
Yeah, they're actually they're like, why is this happening? And the Wikipedia thing is just possible causes. Pesticides, that's a thing. Mites, bee viruses. We're talking about funguses. We're talking about climate change. We're talking about, like you said, the migratory beekeeping, selective commercial breeding,
Wi-Fi signals,
malnutrition.
It's crazy to me
Yes.
that it's only in the past couple of years that we've come up with the idea that, hey, maybe like non-human animals are capable of feeling stress,
Yeah.
and that might not be good for them.
Yeah. They might just produce less honey, and that means less food for their offspring, and that means less offspring.
Well, and like we know in humans, stress leads to like all kinds of health problems and early death stuff. So like, hey, maybe other animals?
Yeah. You know what's great? I just went to the EPA website for colony collapse disorder page, and I half expected
Does
it
that
just
still
to.
exist?
I was half expected there just to be an image that said like, "We're having a fine time with our bees, no problem here." Like Monsanto.
We got the best bees.
Right
We
over
got the
here.
greatest bees.
We have the greatest bees. The bees are recovering bigly.
Big one.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's probably, and I think somebody was talking about that in the article, and they're like, "What do you think's causing it?" They're like, everything. It's all of the
Literally
above.
everything.
It's all the factors mixed together. Is probably why it's happened recently. It's just like it's all starting to like just hit at the same time. But let's not talk about sad bee stuff.
John, you mentioned the EPA, and I think that means it's time for John's Politics Corner.
Yes. Yes, the theme to the John's Politics Corner. Why do I have a politics corner? I don't want a politics corner.
Because I wanted to put you in the most awkward spot ever.
You did. I will say that my politics are that anarchy. I'm gonna go punk rock
My politics are: I wake up every morning, I roll over, I grab my phone, I check Reddit, and I just start screaming.
Reddit r/the Donald, correct?
No, r/politics is the we're all gonna die and everything's fucked subreddit.
Okay.
The Donald is the hey, everything's great subreddit.
Okay. I thought the Donald one was where the president gets his news from.
Probably.
No, that's Breitbart.
Ah.
There's a common source there.
Oh, okay.
There's, I know there's been news that's gone from R the Donald to The Wire to a Breitbart subsidiary to Breitbart specifically, and then out of his mouth.
That's right.
Yeah.
It goes all the way
People
through.
started calling like, "Hey, Fox just said this bullshit claim, so if the Donald tweets about it, you know where he got it from." And
Yeah.
then, like clockwork, it happens.
Yeah, you can just track the
it's
news.
all fucked.
I mean,
We're all
literally.
fucked.
I mean, I mean, I don't want to disparage someone's like political beliefs and leanings and stuff, but like, if you are someone who just is watching cable news and spouting that back out, like, come on, have your own real opinions, dude. Like, at the very least, even if they're awful, at least they're your own. Like, you can own them. Then you're not just parroting back talking points. But that's it for John's Politics Corner. Let's talk about something fun. Let's talk about Lara Croft, Tomb Raider.
So how about
She can
that Lara Croft Tomb Raider?
She can raid my tombs.
Tom Raider, as I call
It's
it.
polygonal.
All right, before we get into the actual game,
Yeah.
which iteration of Lara Croft is your favorite?
What do you mean?
Go through the history.
Oh, all the okay.
You know,
So, okay, let's go
from-
through it.
From polygonal jubblies to everything in between to Angelina Jolie to this new iteration.
New iteration.
I like the proportional Lara Croft. I really do.
The new one. Yeah. Well, I think it's partially because
I like
the voice actress they got. I really like. and they do a really good job in that at least that first game of you really going through like hell basically as her, so you really feel bonded to the character, I think, because she basically
I
survives a
haven't
murder
played-
cult.
Yeah.
Rise of the Tomb Raider, but everything I hear about it, and like I listened to kind of a walkthrough book club style of the plot of it, and I like that a lot. But I haven't played it because I don't have the PlayStations.
Oh, is it on PC? I think it's on PC now.
PC.
Oh, it is now.
It just came out. Yeah. It
No,
ju-
Rise of
like
Rise
2
of Tomb
years
Raider's
later
been
or something.
Rise of Tomb Raider's been on PC for about a year now. It came out, I think, last March on PC.
Really?
Yep.
I thought it was Xbox exclusive for a year.
Microsoft exclusive
Now
for
you're
about
right.
a month.
February 9th,
that's-
2016.
Yeah. And then about 3 months later, it came out on PC, but after that first year, then PlayStation. So.
I think I really like the game a lot because I think the combat's really satisfying and not too difficult, at least on the medium difficulty, which I mean, I'll die every once in a while, but it's not like the checkpoints are really good. The traversal and like exploration and climbing feels really cool, and there's so much to find, and the puzzles in the environment of like, you know, push this pot onto this thing to make it lift up to make a platform move up so I can jump up to the next area, and that's awesome. That's classic Tomb Raider. No double handguns though, classic Tomb Raider style, at least in the first one. There's a point in the Tomb Raider reboot where she gets another gun. I'm like, oh, is she gonna dual wield pistols? And no. And I was like, dang. With the holsters on her legs, classic Lara Croft. But
Yep.
no T-Rex in the new game so far. That was in Tomb Raider 1, right? Or 2, where the T-Rex was.
I don't remember a T-Rex.
I think one was because it was also an anniversary.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was Tomb Raider 1. There was a T-Rex. It's a weird game. Anniversary is really good, actually. I like that game.
Yeah.
Adam and I played a bunch of it. If you can find those videos on YouTube, they exist. Me and Adam playing it before Let's Plays were a big thing. I should have done more of it. Maybe it would have taken off before everybody
So they're
got there.
apparently rebooting the Tomb Raider movie for
Yes.
2018.
Yes. Was supposedly a more like a British actress, which is supposed to be Lara Croft, British adventurer, like. But I don't know.
Alicia Vikander.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Who
yeah.
She's got that like super adventure-y athletic.
I think she was nominated for an Academy
Angelina
Award
Jolie
last
does
year.
not have.
Wasn't she for the Danish Girl? I think she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress. But anyway,
She was Gerda in The Danish Girl.
okay. So that game is just awesome. I don't know if you haven't played it ever before. I knew I'd like it, and I played a little bit of it, and it's kind of like got a survival aspect, you know, where you can shoot animals and collect.
Is it more puzzly or more first-person shootery?
It is more puzzly.
But when you're
like it, 'cause
it's third
Well,
person when you deal with combat. So
Yeah, it's all third person, but the combat seems pretty sparse.
Solid.
Like there'll be like just sections where it's like, all right, I gotta fight a bunch of guys because I've gotten into a base, and then there'll be a lot of large sections where you're tomb raiding and there's no one attacking you and you're trying to solve environmental puzzles. It's a good mix of both, really. And when the combat's happening, like the action set pieces in this game rival the Uncharted series in their insaneness. TG, you just said you didn't play the first one, right?
no, I haven't played the regular reboot, but I did play Rise of.
Okay, the regular reboot, there's like parts, I'm sure that the Rise of has parts like this, but where you're like running across a giant drawbridge as like enemies are shooting cannons at you and it's blowing up behind you and you're just jumping from like piece to piece as it's crumbling, and you feel like such a badass when you like do it correctly, and it's just really good.
In Rise of, I had some platforming stuff like that.
Yeah. There's a
very
lot of
cinematic
platforming.
platforming. Excuse me. In the game, you were basically in the mountains of Siberia, or
Yeah.
at least the Alps. You are basically frozen mountains with a double pickaxe, and so many freaking close calls, and the jumps that you make, the hits. I mean, it's insane. But the combat is completely solid when you get to that part, and once you get to basically the free sections of the game, combat survival becomes the core. So I haven't gotten too much to where you get more puzzles, but
Well, I think that reading a lot about Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I also purchased, and I think I'm going to play next, although Zelda has completely derailed me, and we'll talk about that next. But Rise of the Tomb Raider is isn't there like some sort of language system in that, right? Where you're trying to uncover like a. So that sounds really awesome. Like the idea is your character's like finding pieces of this like ancient forgotten language, and I think that like once you have it deciphered, like it shows up translated. Then
it's actually just usually it's regular languages. Like you'll learn Greek.
Oh, okay. So you learn.
Like you'll see a relic and you'll learn bits and pieces, and that will increase your knowledge of that language.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
I heard that system's really cool.
And then having more knowledge of that language allows you to be able to decipher certain texts later on that helps you progress in the game, or that helps you be able to find some, like some side tombs or whatnot.
Yeah. Awesome.
I mean, level it up like you'd level up any like crafting ability or whatnot.
Yeah, so just those games are awesome. They're full of great systems. I think they've done pretty well financially, so I'm happy for the reboot there. And so far it's good. I need to finish that first one though. Like I got to a point where it was like this is the end, right? Like I'm in a giant like Japanese style like imperial mansion, and it's being set on fire, and I've rescued everyone, and we're all running out and escaping, and like everything's blowing up, and a helicopter's coming to rescue us, and then all of a sudden things happen, and you're just like, oh, I guess we're not done yet with this island that we're trapped on, which is the premise of the first one. So I'm like, shit. So I thought that was the climax. So I guess I think I have one section left basically to finish. So I'm looking forward to finishing that, but. Again, Zelda's derailed, but maybe before we get to Zelda, we could talk.
Put a button on the Lara Croft conversation. In the movie reboot, Father Matthias Vogel is going to be played by Walter Goggins, who has just the best
Father
name
Matthias
ever.
Oh shit! So it's a remake of the first game. It's a remake of the Tomb Raider I just played, because that's a character from it.
Because there's him, Lara Croft, Lord Richard Croft.
Okay, that's her dad
Lou
in flashbacks.
Ren, Conrad Roth.
Yep.
Alex Wren, and Mercenary, and that's all the cast.
Yep, Conrad. Yep.
So
this is definitely 100% just a movie version of this game, because those are all the characters.
I'm surprised they didn't go with Rise of the Tomb Raider.
I wonder if they started writing the script before Rise was completed. Because it came out in 2015 fall, I think, on Xbox One. So they may have started with the scripts. I don't know. I think what's so good about this Tomb Raider, the original reboot, I forget when did it come out, 2013 maybe. It is a very like encapsulated, complete story. Like you're searching for a mystical island. You get shipwrecked on that said mystical island. There's crazy cult there. Your friends are all captured. You got to rescue everyone. It's like that's a movie story. You could do that in 2 hours.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited for that. If it ends up being good, I love Walter Goggins, so it'll be.
He's just got the best name.
It's true.
Hello, I'm Walter Goggins.
All right, Matt. Before we switch to Zelda, I think you should talk, because my voice is getting hoarse from crofting.
What did I put? Hey, you remember back when we threw out just the craziest ideas for the 2020 presidential election,
Uh-huh.
and some
Hindsight is 2020.
asshole said The Rock might be a good
Yeah.
person, and he wants to. He
Yeah.
wants to do it.
Said he wouldn't
He
rule it
wants to
out.
be- And he would run as a Republican, which is interesting.
Mm. Wait, why
So
would he run
I-
as a
I-
Republican? Is that his? Is that what he said?
He previously spoke at the Republican National Convention. He's
Well,
a
that's-
I wouldn't be
registered
surprised.
Republican voter,
That's a different thing, though.
but he's an anti-Trump Republican.
Yeah. That's interesting that he's a Republican. That disappoints
Well, he
me.
is rich.
Yeah,
so.
I know. Why? That was in 2000, though. So, maybe he's different now. Maybe he got woke.
Well, look, John, we don't even know if the Republican Party's going to exist after this year. So
Oh, I know. Holy cow.
Let's take it slow.
It's some fun goings on there. It's like
There's a lot of crazy shit happening.
I do really like that a lot of you'll have a lot of people that are establishment or even just Tea Party Republican people. They're just like, yeah, there's a lot of people here now that are young and they don't care at all about conservatism. They just like being loud and obnoxious. It's like, boy, it seems like you guys really brought your own crowd here to this. It's really going to work out, I think, when they all get tired of doing that. I don't know. It's tough.
Would you vote Republican if The Rock was running?
Yes.
Me too.
Just-
I'd go Republican for Rock.
Just to defeat Trump. Unless
So
like Elizabeth
I don't
Warren was
know
running.
exactly how this works, but I think that even if there is like a Republican incumbent in 2020, I think another Republican can run and force a primary.
You can force a primary if the RNC allows it, basically.
Oh, okay.
Which is possible. If they think that Trump could lose the election, they're like, shit,
But that's
well,
never happened before.
it
right?
has never happened before. But it's not impossible. It's not, you know what I mean? It's always
There's
incumbents.
There's a lot of shit that's never happened before.
No,
that's
for sure.
happening right
I mean,
now.
incumbents are usually so strong, but like usually when someone leaves office due to scandal, it's like their final term or someone else takes over. Like Lyndon Johnson took over for JFK, and then he was elected as like a quasi incumbent. It's just really it's never really happened. It could happen,
Yeah.
but most of the scandals
Well,
people leave
Jerry
in
Ford
disgrace.
didn't get reelected after he pardoned Nixon, right?
I don't know. Maybe he
think
didn't
he was
even
a
run though. He may have just been done, which is possible. I can't
I
imagine.
want to go watch football. I don't want to be president anymore.
I can't imagine wanting to ever be the president. It sounds like the worst job.
No, it sounds horrible.
I don't know why Donald Trump wanted to be it, other than just that it was the thing that he was told he
don't
couldn't
think he
do,
did.
so he had to
I
do it.
don't think he did want to. I think he wanted some publicity and to start a cable news network, and then, oh shit, I accidentally got elected. I don't know what to do now.
Everybody else run it for me, but I'll still get really mad on Twitter about everything. Okay, this is working out. All right, this is not political corner. God damn it. Matt, you brought us right back.
All right, this is our real Donald Trump Twitter moment of the evening.
Okay.
What she said, despite what you hear in the press, healthcare is coming along great. We are talking to many groups, and it will end in a beautiful picture.
All right.
So, despite all of the evidence, things are good.
Mm-hmm.
End of story.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's if he's the human embodiment of the "this is fine" picture. Like, yeah, this is fine. All right, let's talk about boars.
Yes,
Let's talk about
that's
wild.
exactly what I want to talk about.
Let's talk about wild boars.
So you're saying we should switch the subject?
I don't want to talk about politics is. I'm too sad.
Should, but would you say that we should switch to boars?
Yeah, let's switch to boars. You know what's really interesting is that I feel like I saw somebody on YouTube said that their video got a content monetization thing because they used the switch sound effect. So let's test that. We might not be popular enough for them to show up on that, though. You know what I mean?
No, of course not. Well, we did get flagged for our Nintendo.
Yeah, but we had video that they could scrub out of that, so I could understand.
Yeah. What was that video of?
The conference where they announced the Switch. Ugh. All right. So you guys remember Fukushima, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I was there.
Japanese nuclear disaster.
Yeah.
I actually watched a really interesting documentary about that recently, and it was like, this probably could have been avoided if they had updated anything ever. They did it was all this old technology that was like scheduled to get updated, but they took too long, and of course the worst happened. Okay, so what's happened is basically there's a large exclusion zone they built around the nuclear plant 6 years ago when they had to desert. And basically now there are Japanese towns that are like 3 or 4 miles away that have the background radiation has reached normal levels, like rest of the country levels. So they're like, all right, people can start moving in. Only one problem. You know who moved in while the people were away?
Bandits.
Radioactive
Packs
boars.
of roving radioactive boars. And we're talking about, I didn't even know that northern Japan actually had wild boars running around, but apparently they have a lot, because I read an article today in the Washington Post about how they have something like 16,000 wild boars in that prefecture or something. And dang it, now I gotta get that Washington Post article up, because the BBC article I posted in the doc is fake news.
It does explain all the boars and Zelda.
It's just a video, so it's not as exciting. Now it's not on the main page anymore. I gotta search boars now. Damn it. Because that was a really interesting article.
I don't think I killed a boar in Zelda yet, but I think one of them ran.
Really?
Me.
Oh man.
Yeah, I've been seeing them, but I just haven't killed a lot. Killed a few deer. Rode a couple too.
It's crazy that if pigs escape captivity, they start to revert to wild boars. They start to grow hair and tusks.
Yeah, it's actually kind of one of those things that, like when they had, well, they don't really have them anymore, but when they had, orca whales, how when in captivity, their personalities change quite a bit, and they get their dorsal fin goes floppy instead of straight up and down.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And they're just like, it's just a thing that happens when they're in captivity. And there's actually a lot of...
But that's... If they get released, that doesn't right itself. That just stays floppy the whole time, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Just kind of one of those things. God damn it, I can't even find it on fucking... Dude, alright, I love the Washington Post. I'm a subscriber now, but their website, like their search is bad. Like, when I search Fukushima, the first thing that comes up isn't the most recent news article. It's oh, there was an earthquake. It's like, okay, no. I don't care about the article about the earthquake. Let's talk about this. And okay, now, fucking Christ! This article is up this morning, and there's an article from a year ago that's the first thing that pops up about the radioactive boars. Because they're talking about that. But anyway, let's talk about that article from a year ago, because it's probably the same situation that's been going on. Because people are just starting to move in, and people are worried about boars. Because apparently they attack people. They don't give a shit.
So if you had a sexual fetish about radioactive boars eating you, what would that be called? That's right, radioactive boar.
What does TJ's daughter think about this? I can hear her whispering. What was her thought on the boars?
I don't know. She's talking about
boars?
movies.
What movie?
She's watching Enchanted.
Oh, great.
Oh, yeah.
It's got my
That's a good
favorite
one.
in it. It's got my
It's got the
future wife
lizard
in it.
Thing.
Right?
It does.
Wait,
It does. Amy Adams.
who?
Yeah, oh, you got it. All right.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of future wives.
Well, she's number one, but she's also married, so it's over. So
me.
I'm sorry. Yeah, they have
Yeah,
about.
but she's Hollywood married.
Well, she just got married though, so maybe it'll take a couple more years. It's too late for me. So they in the past 2 years, the boar population went from 3,000 to 13,000. And apparently they've got hunters deployed now that people are safe to go in the area, and they just put big like cages that they're catching the boars in and just shooting them when they catch them and killing them. TJ, you all right?
That's my daughter this time.
Just coughing directly into the
yes,
microphone.
You're coughing like a little girl.
She was coughing away from the microphone.
It's just that loud.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, average size of a male boar.
If I know
200
anything
pounds.
about radioactive boars
Yeah.
and hunters, if you shoot them and it's not an immediate kill shot, if it's an injury shot, then
Yeah.
they'll be healed by the radiation.
Correct. Radiation heals.
Boar rules.
Let's see here. What? Oh god. Oh, there's just some crazy shit about this. So they have to dig graves, of course, for these fucking giant like mass graves for boars. Apparently they have 3 mass graves, which each can hold 600 boars, but they're all nearly full. So they're going to have to dig more mass boar graves. Because basically, turns out when human society crumbles and disappears, the animals take over very quickly. The boars just took over.
Have you ever seen that show After Humans?
No. I'm sure it's cool, though.
I think it's on Netflix. I used to love watching that show whenever I would have like anxiety problems, because I would realize that like, oh hey, if we all disappeared, like nature would just reclaim itself within a year, and there would be no trace of any of us.
Yeah, it's actually kind of really interesting, like when they talk about the radioactive boars. Apparently it's a problem in Chernobyl as well.
Yeah,
and in
I
2014,
was just looking that up because there was I was listening to a podcast today, Stuff to Blow Your Mind. They were doing a special on radioactive animals, and apparently, like some animals have thrived in Chernobyl, but what's crazy is the plants and like the various plant life around Chernobyl has had some of the classic sci-fi tropes of like gigantism and dwarfism and like bioluminescence and like the crazy movie shit that you think's not going to be real.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that like this article from 2014 in the Telegraph reported that 1 in 3 boars found near the German state of Saxony, which is I think bordering Russia, found levels of radiation so high they were unfit for human consumption. This is 28 years after Chernobyl, which is 700 miles away from where the boars were found. So that radiation sticks around.
Well, and they were comparing Chernobyl to the meltdown at 3 Mile Island, and they were saying like it doesn't compare. Like Chernobyl was a complete meltdown.
Yep.
And some of that stuff will be around for thousands of years.
Yeah, it's crazy to think, because I read some articles about the Fukushima thing, and they're talking about how they built these robots to go in to like start, like, I don't know, fixing more like water pumps to hook up, you know, to keep the meltdown from getting worse, you know, still, because it basically doesn't ever stop now.
Keep the Godzillas out.
And they were like, yeah, the robot can go in, but it can only work about an hour and a half before it breaks because the radiation's destroying the machine. It's that bad. You know what I mean? Like, it's the particles are just decaying the metal, messing up with the electrical innards. And of course, once it breaks, you can't bring it out and fix it because that metal's radioactive for the next, you know, X amount of years. Which,
that's
like,
the thing about radiation. It works on a physics level, so it affects everything. Every organized system gets degraded by radiation.
Oh yeah, I mean they talk about that, like there's just when you talk about like the cleanup of like Chernobyl and stuff, and they talk about like, they brought in these trucks, and of course now the trucks have to be thrown away because the trucks are radioactive now. Like, it's everything that goes in there has to be thrown away because it's radioactive. You can't, like, everything is just compromised. And so apparently these boars have high levels of radiation because they're eating vegetation and other animals and kind of concentrating the radiation in themselves. So they can't be eaten or anything. So they just need to be killed and buried. And it's sad, but it's kind of cool in a way that nature is like taking over so quickly. Just a couple years, the boar population just skyrockets, because they don't really have any predators in Japan. Natural predators. There's no big land predators. No wolves as much, or
it's like raccoon dogs, tanukis.
Yes, not a lot, not a lot to kill you.
I think there's like sentient turtles and Italian plumbers who shoot fireballs.
Yeah, I think there's definitely. There's like a giant turtle who shoots fire out of his mouth. He's got a spiky shell.
Just like a super spiky fire turtle.
They do still have some living dinosaurs too.
Matt, I like your Russian knockoff Bowser, super spiky fire turtle.
Super spiky fire turtle.
You see that in like the fucking Russian knockoff like kids toy playset, super spiky fire turtle.
Super spiky fire Russian turtle.
Fire turtle.
Destroy capitalism
with his flames.
Fucking. He destabilized the American and European governments with populism. And,
you're going too far.
Too real.
All right, we need to switch.
I don't have that up right now.
TJ got it. TJ got the analog switch. Matt, it's time to switch. That's a good snap noise, though. They got
it's one of the more satisfying noises.
Guys, we got to stop snapping. We're gonna get copyright strikes. TJ, stop coughing like a little girl.
I will try.
Is TJ a little girl?
Yes.
We'll find out more. No, TJ, how's your thoughts?
What are you assholes doing?
What's your thoughts on the Zelda?
Oh, god damn! It's a fucking good game. I love this thing.
God damn, it's a fucking good game. That's the Born in the 80s. What would you give it on the Born in the 80s 5-star rating scale?
How many?
This is really my first
5 would you give it?
This is my first deep survival game, and I really like it.
Yeah.
I would give this one a 5. It's a solid 5.
Yeah, it's a straight
solid
5.
Game.
That's 5.
I can hear your mouse clicking too. I can hear you tapping the switch button.
I think mostly I like this game because of how not Zelda it is.
Yeah, it really is just an open game. Let me see. I had an interesting text conversation with my brother about this game because he was talking about. He was like, "When does this game get good?" Like he's like, "I hate it."
I really want this game, but I have no dollars.
And he's like, "It starts off terribly." And I can understand that because the game really does not hold your hand. He was like, I went to the snow zone and I just like kept dying and it was terrible. And I was like, what?
I went to the Deku Tree and it was full of spiders.
Why didn't you?
I died.
Like,
I died in the snow zone.
Why didn't you get yourself something to keep you warm? Even I knew that. But the thing is that it's so open-ended that it's like, all right, go to these shrines. And I went, if you don't go to the cabin, before you go to the ice zone, you don't talk to the old man who's like, boy, when it's cold out, you better eat some of these spicy peppers to keep yourself warm. Or
you can't just eat the spicy pepper.
No, you have to cook it. But he tells you how to. It tells you to cook things, not how to. Ever in the game does it tell you how to cook anything.
Now that's one way.
Yeah.
Because you can also get clothing.
Yes. Well, if you cook him a dish, he'll give you clothing.
Yeah.
So
what happens if you don't cook him the dish?
Nothing. I don't think you ever get the clothing. You can buy that clothing somewhere.
No, if you actually go back to the cabin,
if
you just get the clothing, there's a chest.
Oh.
He just ends up giving it to you.
Nice. Well, he was well, I don't want to spoil it. The old man is not telling you the full story, obviously. So, he lied to you about that. But anyway, I love it. It's just so open-ended. I mean, it is like the most... I don't think I've ever like had a game more where I've been sitting there on the couch with my fiance and I'm just like looking at something in the game like, oh my god, look at that! Like, oh my god, look at that! Like, it's crazy! Like, what's going on over there? Like, I don't know. I don't really want to spoil all the crazy stuff, but like, I headed back to the original Great Plateau where you start. And I just wanted to collect more like stuff that I forgot. I think I missed some Korok like puzzles and stuff, and I wanted to like there's some really good spots there for getting some like items and food without really too difficult enemies like around.
Yeah.
So it's a good place to farm easy materials, like get apples and stuff.
Can you answer this question for
Sure.
me? Are there walls with visible cracks that are a slightly different hue from the other stone walls?
I don't think so. I haven't seen that.
Well, then how am I going to know what to put a bomb in front of?
No. There's piles of rocks that are slightly different colors than the other rocks that look like they could get blown up. I haven't been inside a dungeon where I've seen a wall with cracks, so I've only been in the overworld areas.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was at the Hyrule, not Hyrule Castle. What was it? The Temple of Time?
Temple of Time, yep.
Temple of Time. And I'm looking off in the distance, and I just see a dragon flying in the sky. Just this, like, Asian, like, style, like the big long tail, like, snake dragon just floating around in the sky. And I'm like, that's just happening over there, like, miles away, and I'll never get to it now. But I just see a dragon flying. I've seen other people like, oh, there's a crazy thunderstorm, and I looked up in the sky, and there's a giant rainbow now. It's crazy. Like, just the depth of the exploration and, like
have you got...
It's just
have
freedom.
Have you got struck by lightning yet?
I have not.
Yeah.
You get struck by lightning?
Yeah, if you're wearing metal things.
Don't equip anything metal, including your weapon.
If you're in a lightning
gliding,
storm.
That's awesome.
I was gliding,
like
struck
that.
by lightning in midair. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Dead. Just...
Yep. This game is unlike Zelda in a lot of ways. One way, it is very unforgiving.
No,
you die a fucking lot in this game.
Yeah,
but it's not bad.
I can't tell you a time that I've died in a previous Zelda game other than the water temple in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. You die in this game a lot. It is okay, though, because the game is very generous with the autosave. Right, TJ,
now,
so
does
far?
Link...
Yeah.
Does Link have an endowment slider?
No. This is not Conan Link Exiles. You can't have a giant dong on your Link.
Giant Link dong.
As much as I imagine it to be true.
But well, I've seen that DeviantArt page.
Yeah. Giant dong Link. Don't Google that. Matt, Google that. But like, there's just so much in this game where it's just so open. Like, you can do whatever you want, and the thing I like about it most is that like it's a game where you could just have this big empty open world, and it would just be like, wow, it's really big and interesting. There's not a lot in it. In this game, it's like you see a weird tree off in the distance. You're like, I'm gonna go over there, and if you go over there, there's always something there that's interesting. Like, it's just like there's a reason. Like the exploration feels cool because you always find something. You know what I mean? You just stumble upon stuff. Yeah, that's crazy. And you get all of your Zelda powers immediately. You know what I mean? There isn't like this slow unlock of like bombs, and then like every other Zelda game where you just get each part.
There is like you collect runes, right? And you collect powers from that.
You get all the runes pretty much right away.
Yep. Except for the last one.
There may be other runes.
Camera.
Well, you get that really early too if you follow the main story.
You do.
But the camera's cool because
your Zelda Man snap powers.
Well, because the camera's really cool because it allows you to for instance, I took a picture of that dragon, and then I opened up my thing, and it was like Pokemon Snap. It had the picture, and then it had an explanation of what that was.
And that's not all. Once
Yeah.
it's actually in your, I forget what they call it, but once it's
Their
actually
album.
in there,
Yep.
once it's in your album, you can now track it.
Yeah, you can track it now. So if you want to find like apples and you're in a forest, you take a picture of an apple, put it as your tracking item, and it'll like lead you to where the closest apples are. So it's actually a really kind of cool system for the game. I mean, it is. I'm gonna be hundreds of hours deep in this game before I finish it because I can't get enough. And what little I've seen of the like varying areas is that like there are so many different zones in this game. I mean, you're talking about the Gerudo Desert area. You're talking about snowy area. You're talking about the Zora area. You know, there's Hell Mountain or whatever. You know, it's just all
Death
of
Mountain?
the
Yeah.
Death Mountain. Yeah, all the areas are in this. Like, there's islands that you can get out to. I mean, it's just such a massive game, and it's like not just the size. It's the fact that everything there matters. It's not the size. It's the content that matters.
On a scale of No Man's Sky to 100, where would you rate this game?
100. It's actually
Everyone is loving this game.
yeah.
Everyone from Donkey to Jim Sterling to Podunk Me, everyone loves this freaking game. And
Wait, Podunk. I want to imagine Podunk Me as a character, and he's just a me, like a Nintendo Me that's just really sad.
Yeah, just like
Like
a Larry the Cable Guy.
He's
kinda
just really
meme.
generic and boring, and he's like got like a fucking potato sack that he's wearing because he's
That's
all
like-
Podunk.
that's like every me I've made of myself.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was
Yep.
I was gonna go into this game. I was getting it because it's a Zelda game. I'm gonna get it. It's
Yeah, same
Nintendo,
here.
whatever. But I was going into this thinking it's a Zelda. It's a 3D game. I have not beat a 3D Zelda,
Yeah.
and none of them have held my interest
Oh.
long enough to actually beat it. And
I beat Wind Waker.
I was ready to just be on the one person on the meh train, not really the hate train, but just like it's a game. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all right. But it's taken me in. It's
It's just so good, and the combat's really good.
yeah.
Like I know that, and I will say, if I don't want to like just be like this game's the best game ever made, there are issues. Like I think the weapon degradation system is a little bit harsh. Like even getting further in the game and getting better weapons, it's still just like things degrade really fast. Like you get into a combat with one guy, you'll have like you said you fought an enemy that had like 1,500 health. You
Yeah.
burn through like 6 weapons. And you're just like, that's most of my inventory, and you'll get like a 1 weapon, in return. And the weapons aren't sold anywhere, at least that I've heard of. So you have to basically get weapons from the world, and it's just kind of like one of those things. It's like, I feel like they could have toned it down a tiny
Apparently, you can store and display them later.
bit. Okay,
um,
okay.
I only know that because I only saw a GIF. It was relatively spoiler free,
Yeah.
but they had 3 different of those elemental weapons, the ones that charge up and then glow of that color.
Yeah.
So when he went to the house that had the 3 of them stored, there was a red, a blue, and the yellow, because I think it was fire, frost, and lightning.
Mhm.
And when he went to the house, they went from colorless and then charged up the energy and then just like lit up bright
Yeah.
at the same time. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, this just the I can't even like put into words how much I love this game. It is one of the best looking games in a long time. It makes me wish it was on PC, because it does chug on the Wii U.
I mean, some people I talked to at my work that also picked up, not necessarily my coworkers, but anyone
Yeah.
coming back. They've really described it as like it feels like old Legend of Zelda or Link to the Past.
Yeah,
More Link to the Past, because Link to the Past would at least give you those objective markers, but
Yeah.
you were still free to explore, and you knew nothing going into
Yeah.
that shit.
oh yeah,
And that's the kind of like hey, I can go this way. Oh, there's like a thing this way. I'm gonna go over here 1st. I'm gonna go do the shrine. I'm gonna go do this. I see some enemies over here. I'm gonna run away. Or I see some enemies over here. That looks like a cool bow. I'm going to kill it and take its bow.
Oh yeah. Well, like I really like the fact. Yeah, exactly. And like just the AI is really cool and very reactive. Like
Yeah.
like if you kill an enemy, or you knock a weapon out of an enemy's hand and you'll hold on to it, they'll make an animation where they yell at you because you've stolen their item, you know. And it's just like, I don't know, they just have so much personality in these like little encounters.
Even Link's animations.
Yeah,
He's got personality in all his stuff.
It's just so deep, you know, as a game. Like,
have you encountered one of those freaking stone monsters?
yes, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm not supposed to fight this yet. Because it one-shot me very quickly.
Yeah, if you're able to dodge it, they're not too hard to take out. They just have the one weak point, and it's the only place that you can damage.
Yeah. I saw that on its back.
I've killed one.
Okay.
But got destroyed by another one twice.
Yeah. There's just so much wonder in this world. And part of the reason is it allows you to wander into areas that are too powerful for you. Like, and it doesn't warn you. Like, I accidentally went way too close to the castle without thinking about it when I first started. I went the wrong direction. And I was like, hey, there's one of those guardian things from the trailer. And it's running around. And I was like, oh, God. And then it lasered the shit out of me. And I was like, oh, my God. And, like, one-shot me. And I was like, oh, my God. So I was just like, I'm in the wrong area. And I still tried to, like, search around in there and had some fun. But I was like, clearly I think I took a wrong turn. So I had
Did you activate that tower over there?
I didn't. I couldn't. It kept getting blown up.
Okay. Here's what I ended up doing. Because I was able to survive.
Okay.
Because I did this right before getting that first memory over there. Essentially, do your best to stay on the sides where the two of those stationary guardians with laser death rays can kind of see you, and then just basically just jump climb your way up to the next ledge, because once you're on the ledge, or if you crouch up there, they can't see you.
Yeah, actually, so this was early enough in the game, and the game again does zero hand holding. I didn't know you could jump climb. I was just slow climbing the whole time. So that probably would have helped, but it doesn't really matter because I'll just come back there later when I can actually destroy those guardians that are on the ground. I actually almost killed one because its AI was freaking out and shooting in the wrong direction, so I was just sitting behind it attacking it, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get this all the way through, and I ran through most of my weapons, and then like it turned around and just shot me in the face, and I was like, oh, well, never mind. I was like, I think I'm going to go do something else, but I think that's what makes the world in the game feel so big, is that it allows you to kind of go anywhere at any time, and it feels, it just feels really... I've never played an open world game where I felt the world was so unique. I think Grand Theft Auto 5 was probably one of the best open worlds up until this one. Like, because Grand Theft Auto 5 just feels like a city, like a breathing city. Everything's everywhere. You know, Skyrim's real good, but it's got that. It's I don't know what it is about the Bethesda games. I think it's because there's just so much fast travel. It just doesn't feel as like you need to go anywhere. You just kind of
always feels like it's a little bit more on rails too.
Yeah, even though it's wide open, like Skyrim's wide open. But
I like the way they implemented fast travel in Zelda. It's not unfair.
Yes, you can't fast travel everywhere, but you can fast travel to points that are usually pretty close to where you need to go. But it doesn't feel like you're just warping to every checkpoint, basically. I don't know. It's just really well put together. Like, obviously, Nintendo knows how to make a fucking good video game. I don't know how much more we can say about this. Matt obviously hasn't played it.
Should we change to another subject?
I don't know. Wait. Okay. Wait. Scalp watch. Do you have the scalp watch music?
Scalp watch.
Oh yeah.
All right, Nintendo Switch eBay. Let's check it out. All right, you didn't pre-order a Switch. You're having trouble finding one. Let's see what we got on eBay. Nintendo Switch consoles. Right now, this has gone up. Actually, the last couple days, $397 for a Switch console is one with free shipping with 10 bids. $385, $420, $390. So we're right about that $400 with multiple bids on a lot of these. Someone has theirs listed at $600 or best offer. Haha, nice. With no bids. It looks like you're gonna have to put it about $390.
I know GameStop has bundles, so at least there's that. But those bundles are shipped to home. They say that they're shipped to home before Easter, but the people who ordered them on Friday have already been receiving them. So
wow. So Matt, if you want to get yourself a Switch, you can. I really wish I could order one.
I think I'm gonna wait till the holiday season still, but it's getting more tempting the more I hear about it, and the more like people that were sort of cautious about going into it and just bought one because they had a show or something where they had to talk about it, and then they ended up falling in love with it. It's not helping my current situation where I have $0 to spend on a Switch.
Mm-hmm.
But it's tempting.
This Switch bundle is too much. It's $600. It's got so much in it. Like they just really threw everything together in this.
That's the higher of the two bundles.
Bundle?
Oh, okay.
The other bundle's $509. It's
I don't want Just Dance.
It's system. I own Just Dance. It's actually all right, and get 3 months of the unlimited, so you get 260 songs instead of 60.
I don't want Just
DJ,
Dance.
do you own Snipper Clips?
Yes, it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it looked really cool.
Yeah, I've heard that's the second best game on the Switch right now.
If you want more multiplayer, including online, your actual best besides Bomberman, your best thing would be Fast RMX, which feels very F-Zero-ish.
Yeah. I know they're releasing a lot of indie games this week. I think a bunch of them are coming out, and they're going to continue putting more out. I've heard that the Japan shop is really easy to connect to and buy stuff on, like really easily. So there's a lot of
demo for Puyo Puyo Tetris is there.
Yeah, there's a lot of Japanese stuff you can get there, and I think if your console's set to English, if there's an English translation, it'll give it to you automatically. So.
Yep.
It's really great, actually.
Which
so I'm a big fan.
My theory that Nintendo just doesn't care about places outside of Japan right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I also want to talk about the sales. So there's not a lot of people, crazy people were like, hey, the Switch is selling more than the Wii did. It's crazy.
What the fuck are you assholes doing?
Like, the Switch is the best. And the Nintendo fanboys are, and it's like, well, okay, remember the Wii launch?
Let's not pay attention to the fact that the Switch at launch is available in more countries than the Wii.
It's not that
was.
even. It's like literally like when the Wii was launched, it was like, well, I hope you lined up 2 weeks ago. Like there was no Wiis at launch. Like it was. I mean, South Park had an entire 3-episode arc about Cartman waiting to get a Wii, and he didn't want to wait, and like it was just like a whole thing. Like that was the hot item, like, and it was just and they didn't stock, and I think that they stocked for their demand much better this time. So because you were able to get one if you hadn't pre-ordered one in a lot of stores. So I went to Best Buy to pick up Wii U Zelda, and I was like, if there's a Switch here, I'll probably just buy it. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, you know what? I wasn't going to, but if I walk into here at 5:30 on a Friday and there's a Switch, I guess I'll buy it. I mean,
you got all that sweet science money, so.
Well, it's not that sweet. It could be a lot sweeter. Well, it should be a lot sweeter, but don't get me talking about that. My life. But
So,
yep, go.
initial console release issues.
Yes.
Have you seen kind of what's been showing up all over the place?
Gail is getting extremely jiggy with it.
That's what's going on.
It's a vocal minority, but this is a console launch. I expect things to show up.
Yeah.
So let's kind of just start with the basics. Number one, the dock is basically nothing, which we kind of knew.
It's just a plastic shell with power cables that go into it.
Basically, it's a mini motherboard that just houses the stuff to give power to where power's due.
Correct.
And the whole reason that extra dock is that much, that extra money that it is because it's not just the dock. It's dock, another HDMI, another power cord. But still, it'd be nice if it was quite a bit cheaper. There was rumors that after that was found out that they took the dock down off the Nintendo store, but they didn't. That was not an issue at all. Number two, left Joy-Con desyncing. Apparently, this was not just an issue. It was not just an issue with pre-launch systems. It was something that was kind of going on for a while, and it seems like it's an issue that's going to pop up with a firmware update.
Yeah, it still seems to be pretty much a case-by-case basis, I guess. Some people... I think it has a lot to do with your setup.
And it's also just it's an issue of volume. It's not something you'll see until you put these systems out in volume.
I mean, no. I mean, Nintendo really should have been prepared for this. I mean, that's a bad... If it's a hardware, like, iPhone situation where it's like, oh, we designed this poorly, where... I mean, a lot of people were thinking that, like, some people's hands could be covering up enough of the antenna that it could cause issues more than not. I mean, they said... What they sent out a press release, they're like, make sure you keep away from aquariums. Like, apparently
Really?
a large mass of water can interfere with the signal enough. But I guess somebody did a teardown of one of the Joy-Cons, and they soldered on an extra antenna, and it works great now. So they're like, that's a fix. I don't know. But not too bad.
Issue number 3. The dock is actually scratching the console screen.
I've seen that. Some people said that it isn't, though. I mean, people, because they said, like, there's soft stuff in there. Like, it's not...
There is.
Like, I don't know.
I've not noticed an issue on my end yet, but, I don't know what of it is from, I wouldn't say true misuse, but, extended use, repeated in and out of the docks, whatever. In that case, get yourself a case that can stay on it while in the dock, like that hybrid case that's coming out.
Yes.
Or just even just a plastic screen protector to cover you for the meantime.
Yeah, supposedly the portable case, the official portable case, comes with a screen protector.
Yeah. So,
if you're worried, pick one of those up.
And then I'm gonna kind of lump together any sort of hard, soft, and firmware issues into issue number 4. And it's just random, hard freezes and bricking of systems.
Oh wow! Yeah, I've seen some of that. That seems pretty rare, though.
It's not prevalent, but it's enough where people are like, "Oh, is this the end of the Switch? Is this is this a quality issue?" No, this is a first run system.
Yeah, it happens.
I would guarantee that there's at least anywhere from 0.1 to 0.01 to 0.5% of systems, 1 out of every 10,000 to 5 out of every 1,000 systems that are going to have issues.
Yeah, it's kind of like how the Red Ring of Death definitely ended all future Xbox consoles.
Yeah, but that was, at least at launch, that was upwards of 20 to 25%.
Yeah, that was a huge failure rate. And Matt's point is that the Xbox was fine.
Yeah,
they got through it. It was a big deal. Heads rolled at Microsoft. I mean, they lost like millions and millions of dollars because they had to replace those.
At this point, we're still talking about less than a 1% failure rate, but we are only 1 week into it. So this is something that could either expand or die down over the next couple of months.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, a portable system that's this powerful seems like it could have, it could be, dainty.
I'm still worried about overheating issues.
Yeah.
Because your ventilation is really just like 5 holes on the top.
Yeah, gotta don't cover those up.
Yeah. So I'm really, really scared what's going to happen for houses that are dusty, because I know some of the stuff that I've gotten traded in at my store.
Oh yeah,
just they're definitely full of dust, or it's going to be put in an enclosed place. Like I'm going to put it in an entertainment center in one of those little small alcoves where there's no place for the heat to go out.
Somebody was talking about how they had their PS3 in one of those, and they had it for a long time. They didn't think about it. And then one time after they'd been playing a game for a long time, they opened it up and there was like an oven in there. They were like, oh my God. Because they had the console closed, the glass doors shut, and it was just like an oven inside there. And they hadn't even realized. So that was one of the sinking issues as well. They said, don't keep it inside a cabinet. Like, it should be out in the open. Which would make sense. I mean, if you're going to be docking it, you wouldn't want it in like a hard-to-reach area.
Don't put walls of material in between the controller and the console.
How are the
Don't whiz on the electric fence. I like my Joy-Cons.
Are they too? Do you have big hands or small hands?
I have about medium-sized hands, but like stubby sausage fingers.
Okay.
And I really like the Joy-Cons when they are docked to the console. I like the Joy-Cons when they're in the grip.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest fan of just the 2 Joy-Cons loose, but I can manage.
And how's the Pro Controller?
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love it. Absolutely love the Pro Controller.
I want to talk one more thing about Zelda. The Pro Controller on the Wii U, the button placement for some of this is bad. And it's probably like really harmed my game playing, because I mean, the fact that they had originally, before I switched it, the jump button being the top button, instead of the bottom button, and
I don't mind that.
I couldn't handle it. I kept for a while. I was like, maybe I'll get used to it, but I kept accidentally jumping every time I wanted to attack. I was accidentally jumping.
But I have a feeling that that's actually part and parcel of the Wii U Pro Controller having its face buttons on the bottom.
Yeah, I don't like that either. Like it's like my thumb should be up here for these face buttons, not.
For Hyrule Warriors, I loved it. I absolutely love that scheme for Hyrule Warriors. I've not played enough Bayonetta to kind of give a good thing. I need to play more Bayonetta because I'm not far at all in either one.
Yeah, another thing that can fuck off in Zelda, the motion puzzles. I hate them. Get those fucking things out of the game. Yeah, so the shrines where you have to solve like motion puzzles, where you have to solve like tilt the Wiimote. You know what I'm talking about, right, TJ?
No.
Well, you missed that shrine then.
I probably did.
So I got into a shrine, and
no, okay.
You get to a point. All right, I'm on the Pro Controller on my couch, and I get over
the gamepad or a Wii remote.
No, I have to grab a gamepad, and I'm like, I'm sitting over here. The gamepad's docked underneath my TV. I have to fucking walk over, undock it, switch to using that instead of the Pro Controller, and then because it was sitting in the cradle at like a 45-degree angle, its like angle was all screwed up, so I couldn't figure out how to do it because it wasn't like centered. And so I was just like flipping this forever, and I was like, this is fucking, why is this in the game? It pissed me off to no end. And I had to like exit and then turn it back on while it was level, and then it worked. But I ended up cheesing it anyway because I just flipped the controller all the way over, and the back is flat, and I just bumped the stone over to where it needed to be rather than doing the weird puzzle, because it just wasn't a good idea. I don't like those. Apparently there's a couple more too, and like I want to play on my Pro Controller. Like, couldn't they have mapped the controls to the sticks for like tilting? Like, what?
I would have hoped so. I've only had 2 of those puzzles so far.
Yeah, they're just not. I don't like them. I wish they weren't in the game, but it's a small part. The shrines aren't necessary to complete the game, so deal with them.
Yeah.
All right, we should talk about one more thing. We should really think about ending, though, because we're kind of near the end here. Did anyone else have anything they desperately need to talk about?
Do we want to talk about the PS4 update?
Let's do it real quick, because it just happened.
Yeah, so PS4 update 4.5 is live, but I'm going to really quick just kind of head over the three main points of what they really added. External hard drive support. About freaking time.
Yeah.
Xbox has been doing this since day one. I don't like the
Wii U
idea.
does it, for God's sakes.
Wii U does it, exactly. Wii U up to 2 terabytes, Xbox One up to 10 terabytes. This supports up to 8.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's better than what I've got inside. Pro Boost is the idea of the games that aren't Pro Enhanced, every single one is going to have a frame rate stability enhancement just by selecting the Pro Boost. So your 30 frames or 60 frames per second, you won't see any sort of frame flicker or lag.
Yeah, so the idea is that the PS4 Pro, if you have an older game that doesn't optimize for the Pro, you can turn Pro Boost on and it will help your frame rates.
Yep.
On any game. So that's an awesome feature. Because some games get a little chuggy.
Yeah. Especially some of the older ones, like the port up of Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Oh, yeah, it did get really choppy. Unity gets really choppy, Assassin's Creed. All the Assassin's Creed really get choppy.
When's the last Assassin's Creed that wasn't choppy?
I didn't hear too much about Syndicate, but
yeah,
Unity was real bad. What's the other thing?
The last major thing is 3D Blu-rays will now be compatible on the PS4, and if you have VR, it will actually take the 3D Blu-ray and allow you to use your VR as your 3D goggles.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Separating the left and right image into your left and right eyepieces.
So you can sit with your VR headset on and watch a 3D movie. Pretty cool.
It's a nice little techie piece.
Yeah. Why not? Matt, do you have anything final? I see you have one thing. Do you want to quick talk about that?
What do I have?
NVIDIA's new card?
It's way... You know those cards that came out less than a year ago that we were upset about how cheap and powerful they are? This one's more. So...
Well, the NVIDIA 1080, when it came out, the GTX 1080, I was like, this is... No one should buy this. It is too expensive. It was the 1070 was amazing deal for the price. The 1080, of course, is more powerful, but it also is $600 versus $400 for the 1070.
But this is something like 47. The 1080 Ti is something like 47% more powerful than the 1080.
Correct. And I was like, when people were like, "Oh, I need to get this," I was like, "Wait a year." The 1080 Ti will come out, and it's the same price I think the 1080 launched at, or maybe only $50 more, and it's way more powerful. And then they dropped the price of the 1080,
it's
$100.
less than the 980 Ti that I bought a year and a half ago.
Yeah. So that's I was like, wait for the Ti card because that'll be the card to get. And sure enough, they came out, and it's really not much more than the original was. And they dropped the price of the 1080. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, video cards continue to be pretty much the only thing that updates on your PC nowadays. You know?
Yeah, that and storage space.
Yeah, CPUs don't. I think they really kind of hit the limit. I think of pre-quantum computing limit for what they can do. So that's pretty cool, though, because I think most of the CPU updates have been we got it to run cooler at higher speeds, basically.
Well,
not really getting faster.
More efficient cooling or less energy usage, but not necessarily more speed or power. And
I think the new ones have had a better bus and memory bus, so they're able to okay, so I'm trying to explain this. The CPU is your power plant of your computer, and this is basically building fatter power pipes, basically. So now they're able to get that computing power out to all the parts of the motherboard faster now is upgrades. So it's not really huge increases in computing power, but they're just slightly better, So, but
Yeah.
video cards continue to just, whew.
When your computer is only as fast as its slowest component, and for a while that was the RAM or the hard drive read speed. Processors have been fast enough for a while that their speed doesn't matter as much as it.
Yeah, I have a processor from 2012 that's like, or 2013, 4 years old, and that is still about the same speed as the ones coming out now. Mine was top of the line when I got it though, so, but still, like, we're 4 years later and it still runs the high speed stuff. So, yep, build yourself a new PC. Well, the website is bornintheeighties.net. You can find me at John_Danger at Twitter. Matt?
Matt Haig Music everywhere.
Okay.
Especially check me out on Spotify and stream my stuff so I get that cash money.
Cash money, baby. TJ?
Yep. I'm May of May everywhere, except for on Twitter where I'm May of May 84. But search for May of May and we'll find it. That's about it.
TJ, is your birthday in May?
Yes, it is.
I knew that. You'll never guess how I knew that.
Yeah, my birthday's in May, and I'm of May.
Aha!
Yeah.
The secret's out. Thanks everyone for listening.
It's a 20-year-old username now.
Yeah. Oh,
Holy
that's
shit.
sad to think about how old we all are.
Yep.
I remember the pre-YouTube days.
Yeah,
That's all I had to say about that.
I do too. E-Bombs World. That was
Yep.
hot shit. You want
Going to random websites
Numa?
that like consolidated videos. Yeah.
Yeah, little clips, little flash player, real video. That's the shit right there. All right, I think we're done. I'm calling it.
Peace.
Peace out, y'all. You never know.
More like Twitch chat. Oh. What?
Yeah.
Is that a door?
I like that TJ has fallen into the role of community moderator when we do Amazon Expedition.
Yeah.
What?
It's a good role.
Yeah.
You're always on that ban hammer. when
Yeah.
people get out of hand.
Someone's got to.
Good. Yeah, it's good to have you doing that because I don't know how to do it.
All right, let me find my live stream so I can hear the audio. Here it is.
All right, we should be live on YouTube. Yours is
Hello,
like the
YouTube
behind
friends.
the scenes thing.
All right, let's be
like
quiet for a
super
minute.
secret.
Okay.
TJ, can you talk a bunch? I'm gonna talk. TJ, you talk.
I'm speaking as if I was talking with words from my mouth.
Hey, we got a chatter in YouTube.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's over there?
Jordan.
I'll pop out the window. Or Jordan, did you want to join us
have
over on
3 separate chats.
All right, I like having the chat split from as many people as I can get.
Yeah.
That's what I like. Let me just
Yeah,
move that
that's
microphone.
fine.
Each monitor our own chat.
Yes, I'm gonna talk a bit more to get my levels.
If you want to chat in a place that I'll see it, go to twitch.tv/MattHackMusic.
Okay.
And I'll just watch them
We're not
all.
live there yet, but
Yeah.
we will be.
All right. I think we're ready to go live. So.
Okay, we're gonna go live to Twitch.
That's right.
Live from Twitch, York. It's Saturday Night Twitch.
That's Saturday
On
Night
Thursday.
Bite, and that's a different show.
quite a different show as of the last episode.
A show, Matt, that Lance said you should come on. I don't have enough
I just
mics
got
though.
Some kind of
You have to bring a
error
mic.
message, so hopefully this is working.
I need to respond to a Lance allegation. That's 100% true.
I know. The mind of Mencia.
Yes.
I blamed it on Drew, and I guess
Nope.
it was all you all along.
It was all me. Yeah. It was
Okay, we
referenced
should
in
be
an old.
live on the Twitch now.
It was referenced in an old Byte episode. I had a Byte Rewind thing back when I was still just a listener.
Oh wow!
Back when you were a pleb.
Yeah, I retweeted it, and I quote retweeted it to both you and the Born in the 80s thing. I think about a day and a half ago when I found it.
I
You
feel like
retweeted Mind of Mencia.
I feel like that is the worst. Oh, sorry. I just I'm literally referencing something I was looking at on my screen. I think that watching people Twitch stream Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild would be really boring. Because I think
it would just be frustrating.
Yeah,
Like, I
I
wanna
understand that.
the excitement of that game is watching it live. Is exploring and figuring out all the stuff on your own. So anyway, all right, I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
All
let's
right,
do this.
we're live.
Yep. All right, I'm ready to start. So, Born in the 80s.
Born in the
Podcast.
80s.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, we don't have Adam sleeping anymore, so
No, just my mouth breathing.
just that one episode. Welcome to Born in the 80s, episode 256. I'm your host, John Rowe, joined by my beautiful and lovely co-hosts.
Matt Haig.
Yeah.
And TJ May.
Yeah. The two best co-hosts a man could ever ask for. Sorry, Lance. You're also a best man that a co-host could ask for. Is that the right syntax?
You're a man.
Yeah, you're a man.
Be a man.
This is a rousing start to the episode.
All right, let's start it over again because that was too bad. Welcome. Let's get some more energy here. All right, let's take two. Take two.
All right.
All right.